Hi everyone, it's Starlene Breiter. I am a vibrational astrologer and an intuitive tarot reader. In this week's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the upcoming astrology for the week ahead, starting with Monday, October 21st and going to Sunday, October 27th, 2019. I welcome you to like my video if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like my channel and you like these kinds of videos. I put them out every single week. And I also welcome you to comment and let me know what you think of the video. If you are looking for an astrological consultation or a tarot consultation, you can find me on my website at rockstarastrologer.com, or you can contact me through social media. My social media, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Twitter. On Facebook and Instagram, you can just look up my name, Starlene Breiter, and on Twitter, I am just Starlene. So feel free to check me out there and get to know me, get to socialize with me. I'm a very social, friendly person, and I love talking about astrology and tarot. So feel free to, connect with me there. So just to give you a little summary of this video that I'm going to talk about and the things that I'm going to talk about in it is the vibrational astrology, of course, I'm going to talk about. In particular, I'm looking at the midpoints. Now, midpoints are 3 planet connections. So these 3 planet connections, they are stronger than just 2 planet connections, in my opinion, and in the understanding and research that we've done with vibrational astrology, they are definitely stronger than just the 2 planet connections, because the more planets you have, the more energy that is going on, right? So we have 2 that are winding up this week that had started last week, and we have 4 that are starting and ending this week, and then we have 2 that begin this week and end next week. Those are the midpoints that are going on this week. We also have a midpoint isotrap during the new moon, and what that is, an isotrap means it's got 4 planets, not just 3. So it's got 4 planets going on, which includes the moon and the sun. Okay, so this is a really powerful new moon. Not that a Scorpio new moon wouldn't be powerful, but there's an extra oomph in it with it, and I'll talk about that when I get to talking about the new moon. Aside from that, I will also be talking about the astrological aspects that are going on, just the 2 planet aspects, because those are definitely important. But I feel like the midpoints are more important, and that's why I talk about those, and that's why I'm a vibrational astrologer, because I like to look at things much deeper than just looking at the surface of astrology. And I will be sharing a gemstone suggestion to work with for you for this week with working with the energies of the astrology of this week. So that is me and this show, or this video, in a nutshell. I'm going to get into the midpoints this week. So the first midpoint that is from last week is Jupiter conjunct the Mercury Pluto midpoint. This happened on the 18th. It started on the 18th and it goes to the 25th. It peaked on the 21st at 8:14 a.m. And what this real aspect is really about is, like, it's a really strong desire to teach. There's a lot of success that we have in projects that we begin, and we can even have some recognition that comes forward to us. Jupiter is always, like, I always look at Jupiter as like what expands everything, and then Mercury is our mind, and Pluto is like our compulsion, our drive, so like Jupiter is kind of expanding our mind and also making us driven to think about things from a different perspective. So if you've been going through some of those things, where you're trying to, like, think about things differently, or kind of trying to better yourself in some way, I think that that's this midpoint influencing you in some way. I've noticed a lot of people that I've talked to in the past bit of time, a lot of people, I talk to clients pretty much every day, and other people surrounding me, and I just feel like a lot of people have been opening their mind up to new thoughts, and that's the influence of this particular aspect, and not just opening your mind up to new thoughts, because yes, you can get a new thought, an idea, but actually going, oh my gosh, this is so cool, let me research, let me understand this, let me dig deeper, because that's what this is all about. That's that Pluto energy saying, I want to dig deeper, I want to scratch below the surface, which is really cool. Now the next midpoint I'm going to talk about This actually started last week, but it doesn't end until like the end of November. It started on the 16th of October. It ends on the 21st of November, and the peak is November 4th. So it's not even peaking this week, but it is slowly getting stronger. Okay, this is the Sun conjunct Venus Mars, and the reason that it's lasting so long is because all of these planets, the Sun, Venus, and Mars, are really moving about the same speed. So as they've connected with each other, they're just getting closer to where they end up peaking on the 4th, and then they slowly start to separate from each other, and what this energy is about, it's very visceral. There is an urge to create something really artistic during this time. There's a desire to really put forward something that you want to manifest and make beautiful. You're feeling very drawn to it. You're feeling very drawn to whatever it is that you can touch, what you can feel, what you can actually create within this world. When we think about Venus, it's our attraction to beauty. And then we think about Mars, that's our energy. And then think about the Sun. The Sun is like us, the energy of ourselves, our oneness with ourselves. So in a way, it's like, what do you like to do, like with your hands? What do you like to do with your artistic side? What kind of things do you like to create? Those kinds of things are what's important during this aspect. And you may notice that there's a lot of love and a lot of sweetness going on during this time. It's a lot of passion going on during this time. That's this Sun conjunct Venus Mars. There's a lot of like desire to create beauty in the home. There's a lot of desire to create beauty within relationships. That's this midpoint that's going on. And since it's lasting over a month, it's like a whole month of this, which is really nice. So it's a very nice kind of energy for us. So those are the midpoints that had started last week and wind up going through this week. The Sun conjunct Venus Mars, of course, like I said, it just lasts until November. But the Jupiter conjunct Mercury Pluto does end this week. So the next one that is new this week, the next midpoints that are new this week and that also end this week, is the first one is Venus conjunct the Mars Jupiter midpoint, and this starts on the 21st and lasts till the 22nd. The peak of it is on the 21st at 7:47 p.m. and this is about creative activity. So in some ways we really may want to get creative or really want to be drawn to whatever we really truly feel is beautiful, because like in ways art is beautiful to us, whether or not your art is the same taste as mine. Whatever you think is beautiful is important in this aspect, and you may want to kind of take a look at that and create something with yourself. Be actively creating something with yourself, something beautiful, something that means something to you. This is also a time of expanding things that you love, because we have the Jupiter influence there, and Jupiter is all about expansion. So we may want to like expand on things that we love. We may want to get close to things that we love. We may want to put some energy towards the things that we're attracted to or that we're drawn to. That's the Mars energy, that energy, thing going on there. So this is a nice aspect. It only lasts a couple days, or sorry, midpoint. This is a nice midpoint, but it only lasts a couple days, but it is very nice and something that you might enjoy, in those couple days, doing something that, might be a little out of your realm of normal, but something that you really like enjoy doing. So, try to take advantage of that if you can. The next one is the Pluto conjunct Mercury Neptune midpoint, and this starts on the 22nd and goes to the 29th. So it goes till the following week. The peak of it is on the 25th, and this is at the peak is at 3:18 a.m. So this one is much different energy. This one's about us wanting to dig really deep into the subconscious mind. So, subconsciously, we always want something, right? Like we're always trying to like find that idealistic life of ours. That's Neptune energy, and Mercury is the mind, and then the digging is Pluto. So in some ways, we have a desire to really say, okay, this is our ideal, our ideal life and what it looks like. And this is what we're putting in our mind, you know, and if our mind is not on that space of this is what I want to create in my life, if it's on something negative, then that can be, you know, that can be like a difficulty there. But if your mind is on something that you really do want to manifest in your life, then you'll want to put energy to it. Either way, whether or not you're focused on what you do want or what you don't want, you're going to kind of receive it because Pluto gives you that energy to making it happen. So try to keep yourself in alignment with, I want to create this. My actions are following what my desires are, and I am actually putting energy towards it. So this is the kind of energy to, you know, think about what is your idealistic thing that you love, and then thinking about it, and then that thinking about it is the first step towards manifestation. So that's a nice energy for us, and it lasts a good little bit for us to, you know, kind of work with. And the next one is Uranus at the opposition midpoint of Mercury Mars. So this one starts on the 24th and it lasts till the 26th. The peak is the 25th at 12:29 p.m. And this one is kind of like a warning to really slow down. If you have any, like, if you're feeling like rushed, or you're feeling like almost like an emotional upset of some sort, or even some mental anxiety, slow down. Slow down. Don't have to like make the decisions right now, because sometimes we like feel pressure during this aspect, during this midpoint. Uranus and Mars oftentimes create an anxiety kind of tension feeling for us. And this is all to do with the head, which is, that's where anxiety lives, is in the head. It's not a physical thing for us, you know. So if you're one of those anxious type people, or you have anxiety, or you're stressed out about something, put any decisions that you need to make off until after this aspect has passed, because it would be better for you. You may make rash decisions. You may decide to just do something on a whim, and it ends up being something that you really don't want. So try to put those things, you know, to the side if you can. It will be helpful for you if you do. And if you're noticing that you're having some anxiety or frustrations, bring yourself back to the present moment. In the present moment, when we're living in the present moment, we're generally not anxious, we're not sad, we're not depressed, we're not frustrated, because the present moment is like right here, right now, right? And if we're thinking about our future too much, and I know that we all have to think about our future in a way to manifest and create, but if we're thinking about it too much, then we can become to a space of worry, right? We can worry like, oh, I'm maybe not going to get this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to find what I really want, I'm not going to succeed, you know, whatever worry it happens to be in your mind. And that's just not living present. And if you're thinking about the past and you're depressed or something like that, that's because you're sad, or difficult things are going on, you know. So try to keep yourself present, especially if you're feeling anxious during this time, because Uranus opposition Mars Mercury is definitely a trigger for anxiety, especially if you're an anxious kind of person to begin with. The next aspect is Uranus is at the opposition of Venus Pluto, and that happens on the 27th. It only lasts the 27th. The peak time is 6:23 p.m. And what this is a deep and unusual kind of experience. This can be quick passion with love. So you may like find someone you're really attracted to during this time, but try not to put too much into it because it may not last. You know, Venus Pluto can be sexy and can be like sweet and svelte and everything, but Uranus comes along and is kind of like, hey, it's fun for the moment, but it's not something that's going to last a long time. So if you have a date during this time, I'm like, great, have fun, enjoy yourself. But at the same time, don't put too much into it. Let it play out and see how it happens as far as longevity is concerned. You know, enjoy yourself and have fun, but don't necessarily think, you know, this is going to be my next, you know, person that I marry or whatnot, you know. And this would also be a really great time if you are in a relationship to do something fun and spontaneous with your other half. So that's another way that this could play out if you already are in a relationship of some sort. So the next couple midpoints I'm going to be talking about are going to be midpoints that will start this week but end next week. Okay, so the first one is Jupiter conjunct the Venus Pluto midpoint. That starts on the 26th and goes to the 30th, and the peak is on the 28th at 7:51 a.m. And what this is, it's an abundance of creative power. You know, we have a desire to create something big with ourselves, something we feel passionate about. We have the opportunity for success during this time too. Jupiter can be very successful. That's one of the symptoms of Jupiter. Jupiter's function, and its function is that it makes things big. And there are many different symptoms that it can play out with. There are many different symptoms all of the planets can play out with. There's a simple function of every planet. I want to do a video about this because I think this is a really important thing for us to think about. I've been thinking about what next learning video I want to do, but I think I might do one about the function of the planets because I think that's one that would help us to understand a little bit more. But Jupiter's function is to make things big, and some of the symptoms of that can be like success, it can be like growth, it can be like traveling or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways this can play out. It's something big though. So that's a nice energy of Jupiter. And making this connection with Venus and Pluto is like you have this drive to create something beautiful within your life. You know, Pluto gives us that drive and that desire for successfulness. And Venus is like, what's beautiful? What's beautiful in my life? How can I make my life beautiful? How can I put my energy and focus my energy on what I want and make it bigger and more beautiful than I have already in the past? This is a great time if you would want to do something as far as if you want to open up a shop or something like that. This is, you know, especially shop that maybe has to do with art or creative stuff, you know, that may be a big, strong, you know, drive towards that. I mean, that's a huge deal in your life. You might just be like, oh, I want to crochet a blanket. And you might be feeling, you know, powerful and interested in doing that and really getting that under your belt during this time too. So it could be something smaller playing out in your life, but it will happen to have this energy passing through, and you can tap into it in the way that it suits your life, you know, because I believe astrology doesn't dictate your life, but there is an energy that's there, and you can choose what to do with the energy. That's why we want to look at astrology from this perspective, because we can say, okay, this energy is present and I can use it for this purpose, and instead of working against it, I can work with it and make things better for myself. So that's the beautiful thing about astrology. And relating it to the context of your life is also very important. Of course, if you need guidance like that, you know, and figuring out how this relates to your own personal life, you can always seek me out for a consultation or something like that. So the last midpoint I want to talk about this week is Pluto conjuncting the Venus Neptune midpoint. This starts on the 27th and lasts till the 30th. The peak is on the 29th at 12:14 a.m. So this is like us compulsively seeking out some idealistic beauty that we have. So, you know, like Pluto can be really compulsive, can be driven, can be deep, it could be like, you know, intense. And Venus Neptune is sweet. It's sweet and lovely, you know. So we may have some intensity towards this sweet and lovely kind of energy. You know, earlier I spoke about Uranus opposite Venus Pluto, and now it's Pluto conjunct Venus Neptune. So that Uranus opposite Venus Pluto may have us like wanting to have some kind of like spark of a relationship on the 27th. That aspect happens on the 27th, begins and ends on the 27th. So we may have some spark of some kind of relationship or something like that. And then comes this Pluto conjunct Venus Neptune on the 27th that lasts until the 30th. And it's like we're compulsively seeking out this, you know. Then we might notice that, oh, if we have found love, we might be saying, oh, wow, or we have found some kind of beauty. We may be saying, oh, does this fit into my idealistic view of what I want in my life? If not, that's okay to move forward from it. Or if it does, you know, if it does, then maybe like figuring out how you can make that, place that in your life, you know, whether it be a person or art in and of itself, you know, just thinking about it from that context. So those are the midpoints that are going on this week. I'm going to now switch gears and go into the 2 planet aspects and the ingresses this week. So for Monday, the 21st, we have Venus making a trine to Neptune. This is a one-day aspect, happens pretty much all day on Monday. And the peak of it is 3:41 a.m. And this gives us an energy towards redecorating our life, maybe our life, our home. It's about creativity. It's about daydreams. You may not feel super like driven towards anything at this time. This Venus trine Neptune doesn't really give you a drive or, a lot of motivation, but it gives you a sense of like feeling like daydreamy and floaty and lovely and sweet. So Monday, this aspect going on may not be feeling like, oh, I'm really revved and ready to go, because this aspect is having us kind of up on cloud nine somewhere. So if you're feeling like that, try to roll with it. I know it's a Monday, but try to roll with it as much as you can. So Tuesday, there's no aspects to talk about. Wednesday, the 23rd, the sun does ingress, move into the sign of Scorpio. This happens at 1:20 p.m. And it stays there until November 22nd, when it moves into the sign of Sagittarius. So Scorpio's sun has us wanting to dig deeper. Scorpio's sun is not light. It can be very intense. It wants us to dig deeper into our subconscious mind. It wants to like merge our soul with something that's meaningful. David Cochran, my astrology guru, my astrology teacher, had described Scorpio in this way, and I love his description of it. If you take two pieces of metal and you put them in a pot and you melt them together, you have two separate pieces of metal, you put them in a pot, you melt them together, they eventually will melt and become liquid, and then you let them dry, and then they're one piece of metal, and there's no like separating that one piece once you've melted them together. That's a kind of like the Scorpio energy. It can be very, very intense and very, very connected to something else. So this is how we may be feeling during this time. We may be feeling like we want to merge with something that's important to us, something that's meaningful. It may be that it can be sometimes like a codependent thing, because if we're not in a good space with ourselves and we feel like strong with ourselves, we may feel like it's there's a codependent thing going on. So be careful of that. Try to make sure if you're merging with something or someone or something, that it's what you really want in your life, because when the sun moves into Sagittarius, we may be feeling, oh, like I'm tired of this. I don't want to necessarily, have this kind of thing that I've merged with in my life. And then it might be difficult to untangle yourself from it because you've gotten so deep, if that makes sense. So try to remember that during the sun in Scorpio, it can be an intense time, especially if you have any planets that are in the sign of Scorpio, because the sun will be traveling over the sign of Scorpio during this time. So that's the sun in Scorpio in a nutshell. Moving on to Thursday the 24th, there are no exact aspects to talk about. And then Friday the 25th, Venus does make a sextile to Pluto. This happens at 5:49 a.m. This aspect is starting kind of on Thursday, lasting through Friday. This is a really passionate energy. It has this wanting to have a desire and a commitment from the things that we love or the people that we love. So if you're feeling like you're needing a desire, you're needing like a commitment from someone, this might be a good time to have a conversation with that person, saying, hey, like let's take this to a committed level. Let's, do something along those lines, because you'll be feeling in that mood during this time. So Saturday, the 26th, there are no aspects to talk about. And then Sunday, the 27th, we have Mars making a square to Saturn. This happens at 10:30 a.m. And this is Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So this lasts for a few days. So this is like almost a reluctance to duty. To me, it makes me feel like it's a smoldering kind of energy, like almost like embers that are just ready to burn, but like they're not burning. They're just like smoldering there. And it's powerful. Mars is like, I want to go, I want to do things, I want to move, I want to shake, I want to, get things rolling. And then Saturn's like, nope, well, we have to stop. We have to be still. We have to think about this, so this energy is almost like a dichotomy of its in and of itself, because it's like on one hand we want to move and shake, On the other hand, we want to like stop and like see things for what they really are, you know, let go of anything that's not important to us. So this is the Mars square energy. It's not the easiest energy to work through, but it can, if we do focus ourselves on what is important and real and makes you know, is very important and meaningful to us, then we can get a lot accomplished. But you just have to focus your attention on what's meaningful to you to make that happen. So the next, and we will have Mars square to Pluto next week, which is like, in a way, Mars square to Saturn is like stripping us down energetically of the things that aren't important to us anymore. And then when Mars squares Pluto next week, it will be like rebuilding us in that. And I'll talk about Mars square Pluto next week, of course. So, and also on Sunday, we have the new moon in Scorpio. The new moon in Scorpio happens at 11:38 p.m. This is a time to set some goals and intentions for yourself, especially goals and intentions that revolve around new passions or passions that you have or passions that you'd like to draw into yourself. This is a really perfect time to do that. So the isotrap that I was talking about earlier, isotrap being a 4-planet resonance, is the Sun conjunct, it's a midpoint with the Sun conjunct Venus Mars. Midpoint, and that's 25 degrees, so it's like not even a half of a degree away from being exact. And then the moon conjunct the Venus Mars midpoint, it's 25, also 25 degrees, or 25 minute, not even a half a degree away from itself. So this, you know, happens right on the new moon. So basically the sun, the moon, and Venus, Mars are making this pattern with each other, and this is like strong emotional impulses to create some kind of love or beauty in your life. You really would like to you know, get your emotions and your being, that's the sun and moon, and a desire to have something that's important, that's meaningful, to put some energy towards something creative that you want to create with yourself. That is very strong energy that not just lasts during this new moon time, it lasts to the next month, and it also lasts to the next 6 months till we have the full moon in Scorpio. So this is like an intention time. This is the time to set intentions. My intentions for this new moon is this, you know, my intentions for this new moon has to do with something that I want to create that's loving, lasting, and beautiful in my life. What are those things? You know, for everyone it's different, but what are those things for you? That's what I would be asking myself. We also have a midpoint with Uranus at the opposition of the sun moon. So, and that's a 12-minute orb. So that's a really strong orb. It's not even a quarter of a degree. So Uranus at the opposition of sun moon also gives us a strong urge for freedom. We may have sudden surprises come up. So don't be surprised if something shocking comes up during this time or even the month ahead. We have an excessive expression of love during this time, and maybe even awakening of some kind of physical passions that we have. So during this new moon, it may be something may hit you where you're like, oh, I really want to create this in my life. Oh, I really want to manifest this in my life. This is a powerful time for us to kind of take that into consideration. Not only is Uranus at the opposition of the sun moon, because we also have Venus and Mars, Uranus at the opposition of Venus Mars, and that's a 13-minute orb. So I know that's not the sun or moon, but that particular, you know, aspect is also going on during the same time. It's kind of like a really powerful, be in the present moment, think about the things that you love, and put energy towards them. So we're going to really want to set intentions for ourselves this coming new moon about what you want to create and manifest in your life. I mean, all new moons are about what we want to create and manifest in our lives, but this one is like, you know, what do we want to do in the present moment? How can we do this in the present moment? How can we really bring beauty into our lives in the present moment? That's what this particular energy is talking about. And I think it's very powerful because it has, you know, the sun, the moon, Venus, and Mars. Those are all inner planets, and this is a strong time for us to set some intentions for ourselves. So do that. Light a candle, say a prayer, set some intentions that are meaningful to you. That will help you to figure out exactly where you want to project yourself into the future, into the next month, and also into the next 6 months. So that wraps up. Oh no, actually, it doesn't wrap up the week. I want to talk about the gemstone suggestion that I have. The gemstone suggestion for this week I wanted to give you is blue apatite. Here's a small piece of it. I don't have any other pieces with me. I'm not in my normal surroundings, as you might be able to tell. But this is a piece of blue apatite. I love this piece. It's a raw chunk. It's really lovely. So blue apatite helps us keep balance with ourselves, especially when things are rough, when things are difficult for us. Blue apatite helps us to keep balance with ourselves. You can get really light colored blue apatite. This is a darker colored blue apatite. Blue apatite's great though because it also helps us to reawaken a sense of clarity. So if we've been feeling foggy, and I know that a lot of people I've been talking to have been feeling like they're foggy or things have been unclear to them, this will help clear that up. This also helps us to express ourselves. It's connected to the throat chakra. So if you're having difficulty expressing yourself, this would be a great stone to work with as well. So blue apatite is a great stone. Work with it for the new moon. Also helping you to figure out what we want. It's a creative stone, so all the creative energies that's going on this week, this would be a great stone to work with for that. So this is the stone for this week. I only have one to share with you guys this week. So with all of that said, I thank you guys for watching my video. I appreciate it very much. Feel free to let me know what you think of it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And of course, connect with me on social media. I appreciate all of you for watching my videos, and I want to wish you a wonderful week. Have a great one, and we shall talk later. Namaste to you guys. Bye-bye.